In other national news today, jury selection began in the George Zimmerman trial, one of the most highly publicized murder cases in recent history. It sparked protests, a passionate debate about race and racial profiling across the country, and now it's time to actually have the legal argument for the feature we call Explain This to Me. The immediate mission for both sides is clear. Find 6 jurors who can put their emotions aside and decide what really happened on that February night in Sanford, Florida, when 17-year-old Trayvon Martin was killed. There's been plenty of speculation and misinformation with this case, but here's what we know for sure. On February 26, George Zimmerman, a neighborhood watch captain, noticed Trayvon Martin walking in his neighborhood. He called police and reported Martin as suspicious. According to 911 tape, Zimmerman said he was following Martin. The dispatcher advised him not to do so. Minutes later, he and Martin got into a fight, and Zimmerman shot and killed the unarmed teenager. What happened between the 911 call and that deadly confrontation remains a mystery. To explain this to me, let's bring in CNN senior legal analyst Jeffrey Toobin, who's live in New York. Jeffrey, let's listen to what Zimmerman's brother said earlier today about why he thinks his brother will be acquitted.
I can tell you, as a family, we're very confident in the outcome of the case, and we're very confident that the state will not be able to meet its burden. And it's a twofold burden here in Florida. Not only do they have to prove that this was a murder, as they allege, they also have to prove simultaneously that it could have been self-defense. So we're confident the state won't meet its burden, and that kind of backs into our confidence in the legal team.
Jeff, explain this to me. What are some key pieces of evidence that will make it difficult for the jury to convict Zimmerman?
Well, the best evidence that Zimmerman has are his own injuries. He is going to claim that this was a confrontation, that Trayvon Martin assaulted him, and he was conducting an act of self-defense. He has bruises on his head. He had bruises on his nose. So that is going to be the core of his defense, is that this was a violent confrontation. I wasn't looking for trouble. And most importantly, there is, alas, only one witness surviving to this contest, because Trayvon Martin is not here to testify about what happened.
And Jeffrey, what key evidence could lead to his conviction?
Skittles and a can of iced tea, because that's all that Trayvon Martin had with him. Here you have a 17-year-old kid walking along having bought candy and a drink, and he gets killed for no good reason. And that is the prosecution argument, is that in the United States of America, you are allowed to walk in a hoodie carrying candy and a drink without getting killed by some vigilante cop. That's the argument.
And the other interesting thing to note is, of course, in this case, as with so many cases, a lot of the things that you and I and our viewers know about George Zimmerman and Trayvon Martin will not be admissible, so they will not be introduced as evidence.
And the jury will be picked from people who haven't followed the case closely. You know, those of us in the news media, we always think, oh, it's going to be impossible to find anyone who hasn't followed these things closely. But you know what? We always do, because people out there in the real world don't follow the news as closely as we do. And especially since you only need 6 jurors and 2 alternates in Florida, I think they're going to find a jury quickly, and this trial is going to get underway soon.
All right, Jeffrey Toobin, thank you so much.
Sure, Jake.